In other news, Virginia Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, met with the January 6th committee today for what the Washington Post is calling nearly 5 hours. Our first guest tonight, Congressman Adam Schiff, is a member of the January 6th committee. Virginia Thomas's lawyer said that she answered every one of the committee's questions today. We will see if Congressman Schiff can confirm that for us. And we'll ask Congressman Schiff, who is also the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, about what appears to be Vladimir Putin's plan to have a formal annexation ceremony tomorrow in Moscow, in which the mad dictator will pretend that some eastern parts of Ukraine are now part of Western Russia. Virginia Thomas provided portions of her written opening statement to the committee to a wacky right-wing website that calls itself The Federalist, not formally associated with the Federalist Society, which controls Republican appointments to federal judgeships. In her opening statement, Virginia Thomas asked the committee to believe this about her communication with her husband. Quote, regarding the 2020 election, I did not speak with him at all about the details of my volunteer campaign activities, and I did not speak with him at all about the details of my post-election activities, which were minimal in any event. I am certain I never spoke with him about any of the legal challenges to the 2020 election, as I was not involved with those challenges in any way. I can guarantee that my husband has never spoken with me about pending cases at the court. It's an ironclad rule in our home, and I generally do not discuss with him my day-to-day work in politics, the topics I am working on, who I am calling, emailing, texting, or meeting. On November 10th, 2020, 3 days after every news organization had called the presidential election for Joe Biden, Virginia Thomas texted this to the last Trump White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows. Help this great president stand firm, Mark, exclamation point. You are the leader with him who is standing for America's constitutional governance at the precipice. The majority knows Biden and the left is attempting the greatest heist of our history. On November 10th, 2020, there was no case pending before the United States Supreme Court about the election. There was no case pending in any courts about the election. So on November 10th, did Virginia Thomas discuss with her husband at dinner what she felt was the greatest heist of our history? If you think Virginia Thomas has earned the credibility to be believed about her statement that she never discusses the Supreme Court's pending cases with her husband, it is still possible that she discussed what she thought was the greatest heist in our history on November 10th, 2020, with her husband. 14 days later, on November 24th, Mark Meadows texted Virginia Thomas saying, this is a fight of good versus evil. Evil always looks like the victor until the King of Kings triumphs. Do not grow weary in well-doing. The fight continues. I have staked my career on it, well, at least my time in D.C. on it. To which Virginia Thomas replied, thank you, exclamation point, needed that, exclamation point, this, plus a conversation with my best friend just now. I will try to keep holding on. America is worth it. My best friend. Who could that possibly be referring to? Who would she turn to in this dark moment of crisis in her life, her crisis of faith in the very future of the United States of America? Would she look at her husband of 35 years, with whom she has been through so much, and think, I can't talk to Clarence about this? That would be wrong.
Speak with your husband about your beliefs of the election being stolen.
Thank you for your question. I look forward to answering members.
Ms. Thomas, do you still believe the election was stolen?
Ms. Thomas, how did the session go today?
Are you done for the day? Are you coming back? You speak to your husband about the election and your conversations with Mark Meadows?